All right, let's talk about big ships now. The Ever Given has been freed, but not before the massive tanker caused billions of losses due to delayed cargo. The 400-metre tanker was jammed across a section of the Suez Canal last week, bringing shipping traffic to a halt. The canal, of course, is the shortest route between Europe and Asia. And earlier on Monday, the ship was freed. Let's get an understanding of the difficulties of getting this massive vessel afloat again. I'm joined by Captain Nick Sloane, Salvage Master and Director of the Resolve Marine Group. Good evening, Captain. So this vessel got stuck. What was to blame? Was it human error? Was it winds? Because I read a lot about there were problems with the winds that blew the ship off course, with the tanker off course.
Yes, it's a combination of that. And, you know, I think if you think of 4 football field, 4 soccer field long ship, the same width as a soccer field, and carrying the most cargo that's ever been carried through the Suez Canal. So there was a combination of human error, strong winds, and maybe some mechanical problems, but certainly they were exceeding the speed limit for the Suez Canal. The speed limit is normally limited to 8 to 9 knots, and of course with the wind gusting 25 to 30 knots, they actually increased the speed around the corner and kept on going. And then they started to get a bit of a speed wobble in the canal. So the canal's only been opened in 2015 with this deep water canal to accommodate these ultra-large container ships. And this is one of the few 400-meter-long versions with 20,000. She had 99% fully laden of cargo. So basically she is the largest, heaviest container ship to go through the Suez. And when she bounced off the left-hand side, the African side of the canal, and then as she bounced off, you know, that's turning her to the right, to starboard, and then the wind actually picked up force on that side, and that combination meant that she ploughed into the Asian side, the right-hand side of the canal very quickly, and within a couple of minutes it was all over. That momentum of 400 meters or 4 soccer fields of cargo and 5 to 6 million ton meters of momentum plowed her way through the shallow water and into the side of the canal, and then the stern spun around and jammed on the African side, and within a couple of minutes it was completely blocked.
So we saw a lot of cranes, and it took, I think, about 6 days to get it out of its predicament. How do you unstick a vessel like that?
Well, normally the best thing is to go out the way you came in, but because she actually spun and the stern ran aground on the other side, so you can imagine that the bow plowed through the sandbank and just built up this new incredible amounts of sand on either side of the bow. And so they had dredgers working for the last 6 days. Initially they had 8 tugs to try and pull her out the first 24 and 48 hours. And obviously they found out that she was heavily aground. And the salvors came in, they remapped the seabed, they did a stress analysis and the structural analysis of the ship with the naval architecture, and worked out the ground reaction. And then they could focus the forces for the tugs more efficiently, and actually get the dredgers to focus in the right area. So this morning they had 14 tugs, some ocean-going tugs that joined them yesterday evening. And 14 tugs managed to break free the stern section from the African side and turn her back towards the center of the canal. And then at this afternoon, spring high tide, they were successful with actually putting her astern and getting her completely afloat and into the middle of the canal. She's actually just arrived in the Bitter Lakes. That's the big lakes that are in the middle of the north and south canal. And she'll be having underwater surveys and a lot of inspections over the next couple of days to make sure she's, you know, fit for purpose. And I guess there's quite a bit of paperwork to fill out.
Do you think this is going to lead to a discussion about whether, because you were saying that it is it's only since 2015 such heavy and large tankers have been able to go through. Do you think it's going to lead to a rethink about these massive, massive sea vessels so heavily loaded going through the Suez Canal?
Yeah, well, the next generation of ships has already been built and should be launched towards the end of this year, and most will be underway in another year, and that's going to go up another 40%. So these ships have doubled in size in the last 10 years, and already they're going up another 30 to 40%. So the next generation is going to. Not many of these 400-meter container ships have been through the Suez, fully laden, and everyone's learning as they go along. So it's not going to get better if the next generation is just around the corner.
It's completely fascinating, and thank you for explaining it so clearly to us. I really do appreciate your time this evening. That was Captain Nick Sloane, Salvage Master and Director of the Resolve Marine Group.